everyone, and welcome back to the Cup of Joe show. I'm Joe, that's Jeremy, that's how we do it. I realize that we're becoming like the Now CDs, and like this is episode like 64. We haven't come up with something else to call it, so well, who knows? Maybe New Year's resolution, we'll figure out something. But anyway, some movie news kind of dropped. Well, I wouldn't say movie news, a movie trailer dropped. That was after the trailer to the trailer, the teaser to the teaser trailer, also dropped as well, saying there'll be a trailer coming out on this day. It came with the premiere of Agent Carter, another attempt at a Marvel TV show, which who knows how it'll go. I don't know. I haven't watched it. All I know is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is actually quite dull and really not that good. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about movies. And a movie will be coming out this year, and it's going to be called Ant-Man. Ant-Man starring Paul Rudd and Michael Douglas. And like I said, a trailer dropped during Agent Carter. I watched it online, which is probably what everyone else did too. So, first impressions, Jeremy, what did you think of the Ant-Man trailer?
Well, I hear a lot of mixed things about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I know I'm going to kind of go on a tangent here, but one of the things that I hear is that it has picked up steam of late. It took a while to find its identity and get going. I only watched like the first 3 episodes, and I did find it kind of dull. So I am planning on, the first season's on Netflix, and I'm planning on giving it another shot because I came across some spoilers, and it has some really big ramifications for the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a whole. Now that said, basically my reaction to the Ant-Man trailer is the reaction that everyone else had. It's a very by-the-numbers trailer. It doesn't really have, that one scene or that one line of dialogue or anything that just grabs you and you're like, yeah, Ant-Man. And Ant-Man is not that popular of a character. He's probably, C-list at best. Then again, maybe we shouldn't doubt Marvel because, they already pulled that off with Guardians of the Galaxy. And, people didn't think that was going to be good or successful. And next thing you know, it's, handily beating out Captain America and Thor. So, and the first Iron Man, for that matter. I think maybe the second one, too. It was a really big movie. Anyway, I see no reason to doubt Marvel and their movies yet. But I think if they're going to have a misstep, it's probably going to be Ant-Man.
Yeah, and I wouldn't. I wouldn't say that. This trailer didn't sway me either way. I'm still confident it's going to be a good movie, but there are some red flags about the movie. The fact that Edgar Wright was on board as director for a very long time, and then they parted ways. I think it was just that Edgar Wright, created the tone of an Edgar Wright movie wouldn't fit the tone of a Marvel movie. So I think that's why they parted ways. But that's a bit of a red flag. Edgar Wright is great, and it's killing me because I cannot figure out one thing that he has done, but I know that he has done good stuff. It's killing me, but I'll figure it out later in the show. Anyway, they brought on this guy who has only done he hasn't done any action films. He's done Yes Man and some chick flicks or something like that. I don't know, but I wish I had names for you guys. Research would be good before the show. Anyway, that's not how we roll, though.
Not our style.
That's right. So, reactions to the trailer is okay, there's going to be an Ant-Man movie, which we already knew, and there wasn't anything special about it. I feel like the scene where he's flying on the ant was probably supposed to be the the big scene of the trailer, but it
He did Scott Pilgrim.
that's
Edgar
it.
Wright.
There you go. There you go. That's one. So, well, Scott Pilgrim, which is one of like it's a phenomenal film.
Quite underrated.
Exactly.
Didn't do well at the box
Didn't
office.
do well at the box office at all, and it's a phenomenal film. So yeah, it's there was nothing wrong with the trailer, but like considering like these trailers that have been brought out, I guess we've kind of been spoiled. You've had the Age of Ultron trailer and the Star Wars trailer, and so it's just kind of like now we're looking for a little too much, I think. But I thought it was funny that he said, "Is it too late to change the name?" If Paul Rudd, which I think he will, if Paul Rudd brings Paul Rudd to the screen, but as well as like similar to what Chris Pratt brings, if Paul Rudd could have the same kind of impact on the movie that Chris Pratt did for Guardians of the Galaxy, that movie's going to be just fine, and I'm confident that it will be just fine. So yeah, go see Ant-Man when it comes out, and I forget, is it June, July?
I believe it's July.
All right, the summer.
It's
There.
the culmination of Phase 2.
Yes, absolutely. So now we move on to this week's last weekend's box office results, and we go to Jeremy for that.
Yes. Well, last weekend was, we've officially moved beyond the holiday season now, so things are going to get kind of slow for a bit before the Oscar movies, start to get going. So last weekend, fifth place was Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb. That was down 28% to $14.5 million, total of $89.9 million. That's way more than I thought this would make, especially after its opening, and I hate this franchise. Number 4 was The Woman in Black 2, Angel of Death, and that opened to $15 million. That's not too bad. It's not terribly far off from the first Woman in Black, but it was ridiculously front-loaded. Like, its Friday accounted for about 60% of its total weekend, and when you do that, it doesn't set you up well for the future, so it's not going to do well. It might end up with like $32 million in total. So, yeah. Okay, number 3 was Unbroken. That was down 41%, $18.2 million, total of $87.7 million. As Joe and I went over last weekend, Unbroken was kind of a disappointing film. I think there's a better movie there for the story, and I blame Angelina Jolie for misdirecting.
Absolutely. All too easy.
But true.
But true. Yeah.
Anyway, the second spot went to Into the Woods. That was down 40% to 18.7 and has a total of 90.8 million. Unbroken and Into the Woods kind of remind me of Les Mis and Django Unchained, which were two movies that came out on Christmas and were pretty much joined at the hip for weeks and made pretty similar amounts. And these two are doing kind of the same thing here. I mean, in both cases, one was a musical. I hated Les Mis, though. Just to throw that in there, it was not a good movie. I don't know if I would like Into the Woods, but maybe I'll try it someday. At any rate, our number 1 movie for the third weekend in a row was The Hobbit, The Battle of Five Armies. And that fell 47% to $21.7 million and has a total of $220.6. As of right now, it's still kind of up in the air if Battle of the Five Armies or Desolation of Smaug is going to come out on top. Well, I mean, An Unexpected Journey is definitely going to come out on top of the trilogy, but between those two, it's still going to be a tight race. But at any rate, I think Battle of the Five Armies will take the franchise out on a pretty decent note, and add in overseas, and we're talking at least $900 million. But Yeah, Transformers is going to be the highest grossing of the year worldwide, pretty comfortably. So there's that.
There's that. And that means there's a Transformers 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9. Well, and Mark Wahlberg is coming back for more Transformer films.
I'm on board.
If that matters to you, I don't know. But yeah, it's fine by me. Those films are just going to get worse and worse, and I can't imagine what the next one is going to be. I really thought that the fourth one was going to be like the turnaround, just like, yeah, we'll bring it back now, and it just got like worse. So
They have to bring in Unicron at some point. I mean, it seems like the stakes just keep coming, or just getting higher and higher, and
it's true.
I don't know how you get higher than Unicron.
Yeah.
If you don't know, Unicron is a Transformer that is the size of a planet.
There you go.
So that's basically his alt form. He's a giant sphere the size of a planet, and he transforms into a robot, correspondingly the size of a planet.
Yes. Maybe that's who Optimus Prime is going for at the end of the fourth one.
He is basically the Autobot god of sorts. So,
There you go.
I don't know.
So it's possible. We don't know. Or, I mean, Transformers writing is so bad that they may just even forget that Optimus Prime actually flew the planet and said that, but...
Magically gained the ability of, like, interstellar
right?
flight. Like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But, so, anyway, after that random rant about Transformers, I guess that's how uninteresting the box office is. But, anyway, yeah, I think that... I think the one thing that Angelina Jolie did do right, and if she had, I guess she probably did have a big hand in it, is the promotion of the film. Unbroken's been promoted very well.
True.
And I think at the very least it's probably hitting the older audiences, I would say. So, I mean, it's doing just fine, and I guess it'll probably do just fine.
I mean, it's going to make like
130,
140-ish, and, I didn't see that much. I thought it would make like 75.
No, so, I mean, that's great for Unbroken. Other than that, I guess that's the box office. So, now we move... Oh, hang on. I found out the director of Ant-Man. Hang on. That's what I did. His name is Peyton Reed, the director, and he also directed Bring It On, let's see here, Down with Love, The Breakup, Yes Man, 3 episodes of The New Girl, and all of a sudden there's Ant-Man. So there's your red flag about the movie.
Well, Bring It On is a solid film, and I like New Girl.
You're right. Bring It On is actually a solid film, and I don't watch The New Girl, but it's
just New Girl.
Oh, sorry. Well, I don't watch The New Girl either. All right, so, but yeah, so that's just good because he's never done like action or I don't know. That's a weird choice for me, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I guess.
I agree. Yeah, that makes me wary.
Yeah, but I feel like Edgar Wright pretty much put the whole movie on a platter. So I guess maybe Peyton Reed will just have to stand there and just be like, yeah. What he originally, yes, stand there. So I don't know, but gosh, don't mess that movie up. Marvel's on such a run. All right, so. We've got some movies coming out. We're into January now. We were into January last week, but we're deeper into it now. So a few movies came out. Well, one got a wider release. So let's start with that. Selma. Story of Martin Luther King. I said that as if like people shouldn't know who Martin Luther King is. A story about Martin Luther King?
Who?
Junior, yeah.
Oh, Junior.
Junior, there it is.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah,
so,
I didn't know.
Yeah, so originally I thought this is, and it may turn out to be a bit of a biopic, but I think it's interesting that it's actually focusing on like the whole what they had to do to protest and everything, and the art of the protest, instead of just focusing on Martin Luther King Jr. At least it appears that is how they're focusing it, and they're focusing on Selma, obviously. So this looks, I mean, it's great, amazing reviews. It's like 98% at Rotten Tomatoes. It only has 2 rotten reviews. I love to go through and find them just to see like what's their problem. But yeah, I mean it. I don't know. It looks good. I don't know. Like I feel like that's just kind of a movie that you just kind of have to see, because I mean I don't think the trailer's like particularly like, oh my god, this is great, but like I'm sure it's a well acted fantastic movie. In the leading role, David Oyelowo. Love saying that name, David Oyelowo. He plays Martin Luther King Jr. So, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I'm sure this film will have Oscar implications, whether it's the acting or even just the entire film itself. So, we'll have to see. I do want to see the movie, but I'm not so like, I don't know why I'm not so like driven to see it. Like if I don't see it, I feel like I'm gonna be okay if I don't see it. I don't know, but it's probably a really well done film.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it looks like it's gonna be pretty well done. Pretty solid flick. But I don't know. I'm in no rush to see it. I mean, as far as box office prospects and everything go, especially with those incredible reviews, I think that the hype to an extent will be there, and people will want to check it out. And I don't know if like the whole Ferguson thing, all that like civil unrest, racism, stuff like that is gonna you know build into it and tie into it, because it's obvious that stuff like that is still an issue in modern society. So I don't know if it'll make any difference, but I think it kind of it fuels the fire at least a little. So I mean it's not expanding into like a ton of theaters, but I mean I wouldn't be surprised to see it go over 20 million.
Right. The people. I don't know. That's what happens in the trailer. Anyway, moving on to Taken 3. The original title was
Take 3.
Yeah, no, I believe they removed it finally, and like they just have it. It's just Taken 3 now, because that was so stupid. But anyway, this has a 9% of Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, this movie's gonna be awful. It's gonna be so bad. It's hard to believe that this movie might be worse than the second movie. So, wow, how this trilogy has taken a turn for the worse. After that great first film, it's bad. It's so I mean I don't know if it's going. I don't know. It might be enjoyable. I mean, but man, Taken 3.
Well, as far as Taken goes, I think the best comparison we probably have is The Hangover, where you see the first movie opens decently, has really good legs, and then the second movie opens enormously, and then finishes shy of the first one but comes close, but then the third one, it takes a huge step back. So I think that's exactly that was the pattern of the Hangover franchise. I think that's going to be exactly the pattern of Taken, because I mean that was exactly the pattern through the first 2 movies. So Taken 3 is going to take a step back. It's going to open to like 30 and make like 65, 70, maybe 75 if we're lucky. But yeah, it's going to be awful.
Terrible. So, but that's January for you. Although there's some potential out there in January, actually, this month. So anyway, that's gonna do it for our show. Go Pack, go! Hopefully, Aaron
Down
Rodgers
with the Cowboys.
Down with the Cowboys. You're darn right. So we'll see how it goes. Enjoy the football. Enjoy the movies that you go see. Goodbye.